That's it. Perfect. Good morning, or good afternoon, I should say. I am live on SDC.com. I'm also live on Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube today. And I am so excited to be here with you guys today to learn about how to get big dick energy, right? This is a concept that's been flying around for quite a while. And I thought I'd jump on and talk about all of that. So let me just get my sound right because I feel like I need to turn this up a little bit. Test, test. There's another one here somewhere. There we go. Test, 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 test. There, that's it right there. That's what I needed. So welcome everybody. Welcome to How to Get Big Dick Energy. I'm so excited to be live today on SDC.com as well as on Instagram, on Facebook, and on YouTube. And so today I'm going to be talking about how to get big dick energy. And before I do that, I want to just introduce myself. My name is Eve. Hi ho Keepa. And if you have any questions, feel free to put them in the chat. I'm here to answer any questions that you might have. My name is Eve, and I am the host of a podcast called Please Me. And I hope that all of you from SDC have already seen it. It is on SDC. You can see it on SDC. You can also see it anywhere you listen to podcasts. And you can also watch it on my website, which is pleaseme.online. And you can also watch it on YouTube because I also have a YouTube channel. And that's where all of my podcasts are hosted or kept, as well as all of my live webinars. So if I'm doing a live webinar, generally I will do it on SDC and also live stream it to the other sites. And so they will be housed on YouTube as well as on SDC under my videos. So you'll be able to watch any of my previous webinars there as well. So if you are listening, I would love to know where you're from. So pop that in the messages too, so that I can see where people are listening from. And I am located in Palm Beach, Florida, Palm Beach County, Florida. Ooh, the Netherlands, lovely. Miami, okay, someone local to me. Canada, lovely. Nice to see you guys here. Montreal, wonderful. Thank you guys for coming and listening today. West Palm Beach, another local, fantastic. Orlando, not too far. And I am so excited to have so many of you here today listening. And like I said, I am the host of a podcast called Please Me. And it is close to its 1 year anniversary. And I'm hoping to maybe throw a nice big party to celebrate the 1 year anniversary of my podcast. And it has been such an amazing journey. I have been doing all of these webinars twice a month. And that's been a whole lot of fun. And just talking about what I do. So besides the podcast, I am a licensed physical therapist, and I treat conditions of the pelvic floor and sexual health conditions. So I treat things like erectile dysfunction. I treat things like decreased vaginal sensitivity and dryness. I treat incontinence. I treat decreased or painful sex. I also talk to a lot of clients about decreased libido, which we are definitely going to be talking about today. And all of that, all of what I do plays into whether you have big dick energy or not, right? And big dick energy is literally what it describes. It is energy, Okay. It is the energy or the vibe that you exude, right? The confidence that you exude as a man. And in a couple of weeks, I'm excited because I'm going to do this same topic, except it's called How to Get Big Clit Energy. And so I was interested today to find out how the term big dick energy came about, because I coined the term big clit energy because I felt that women needed an equivalent to big dick energy, right? And yes, women have been known to be set or have been said to have BDE or big dick energy. And Rihanna is one of those people that in an article I read, it said that she had big dick energy, right? But I prefer to use our own body parts and say that she has big clit energy, because women can have as much confidence and sexual prowess as a man can. So in a couple of weeks, we will be talking about big clit energy. But today we're going to be talking about BDE or big dick energy. And I am, like I said, a licensed physical therapist, and I treat conditions of sexual health, which is why I'm here today to talk to you about the confidence that you can get if you exude big dick energy. And I have to say that I just want to jump in here and say, because there's lots of comments going on over here, that part of having big dick energy is being respectful, okay? Respectful of women and respectful in general of people around you. If somebody is crass or rude to people around them, that is really a big dick energy killer. So I will put that out there and say that without anything else. But BDE is an attitude and it's a personality, and it is not about having a big penis. Okay, it is a conceptual. It's a conceptual idea. It's a concept. It is not about the physical big penis. And so I'll just start off with that. And what's interesting is that in my research for this webinar, I found out that the term was coined when Anthony Bourdain actually passed away. And I don't know if anybody else likes Anthony Bourdain or followed his career, but when he passed away, someone posted on Twitter that he had big dick energy. And you know, I agree. He had a lot of confidence, and you know, he was a smart man, and he, you know, definitely exuded confidence in what he did. And everyone can have that confidence in their own careers. And I like to think that I have big clit energy in my own career, and I'm very confident about talking to my clients about whatever topics that come up. And anyone can have this energy, but there are some parameters, right? So let's get into them. So there is it also self-confidence, which I mentioned before. It's an aura or a vibe that you give off to people that you meet, right? And they're gonna automatically feel either welcome, or they're gonna feel turned off or repelled, right? So you want people to feel welcomed by you. It's having intelligence, but it's not about it. Not necessarily about having intelligence. It's not necessarily about being beautiful, and it's not necessarily about having, like I said, a big penis. It's about knowing your own worth and knowing how to, when you feel like you are worthy, right, you are going to be able to give that out into the world, give that vibe into the world. And so, you know, having self-worth is so key. And, you know, a lot of times people think that that's an issue that women only have, that they don't have enough self worth. But this is certainly something that affects men as well. So, working on that, your feelings of self worth, is very important in order to have confidence in yourself and to exude that BDE. Bulgaria, hi, Netherlands, some more Netherlands people, lovely. I wonder what time is it over there in the Netherlands right now? Right now, here in Florida, it's 12 o'clock in the afternoon. So, you guys are my lunch hour fun webinar. So, there are certain things that can certainly kill BDE, right? And I already mentioned one of those before. And I mentioned it right off the bat because somebody was being kind of disrespectful, right? So respect is so important. And people that are respectful to those around them are going to exude more confidence and that BDE. So being cocky is one of those things that can really kill BDE. You don't want to be overly cocky. Yes, you want to be confident, but you definitely don't want to be cocky. Trying too hard. Trying too hard. That's another thing that I agree definitely can kill BDE. And so, yes, you want to ask for what you want, and you want to be firm and strong about that, but you don't want to be overly pushy, and so that's super important. You don't want to try too hard. So maybe reaching out once, reaching out twice, but not reaching out several times a day or multiple times a week when the other person hasn't responded back to you. Give them time, because not everybody is constantly staring at their screens. So definitely have that respect, right? So you don't want to try too hard. So those are some things that I think can kill BDE. Trying too hard, being cocky, being disrespectful, and also misogyny, right? People that are disrespectful to women, that's going to kill BDE. A woman is not going to think that you have BDE if you are being disrespectful to women in general. So misogyny is definitely a no when it comes to having that big dick energy. Hi there from Southwest Florida. Okay, nice. I am in Palm Beach County, Florida. So I am not too far away. Lots of Floridians here. Always Floridians show up, and I love that. So welcome to the webinar today. So let's talk about unsolicited dick pics, right? I mean, how many people have gotten those? And I know right now I am streaming live on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, and SDC.com. And I'm going to say that SDC.com is an incredible website. It's a dating website for ethically non-monogamous people, okay? Or even swingers, okay? Lots and lots of swingers on that site. And so when you are dating in that world, sometimes people think that it's okay because you're dating with sexual activity in mind to send unsolicited dick pics. And that is a definite no, okay? Really, usually not well received. Most of the time, the person on the other end wants to know you a little better before they get to see any parts of your anatomy, or wait until you meet, you know? No need for you to show that until you're meeting the person. You know, and yes, you know, women do love their man's penis, right? But we don't want to see everybody's, right? It's almost a little bit abusive to send that pictures like that, because you are not asking for consent, and consent is so important. Okay, and you can agree to disagree, and that's fine. But definitely for me, that is a definite no, and an easy way to get blocked because it's very disrespectful. I have not consented to seeing that. And, I don't necessarily want to see it. And so, unless you're my client and, I'm treating you there, keep it in your pants. So, okay, so I'm not going to go into the details, but you know what a dick pic is. It's a picture of your penis, right? And so that's one of the things that, being respectful is so important to have BDE. Let's see. So we talked about Rihanna, right? And it's not necessarily a concept that translates just to men, but I have to say that I prefer to use BDE just for men because I think that women have their own energy, right? We get our energy from our clitoris, right? So we have big clit energy. So definitely, you can say that a woman has BDE, but I prefer to say that she has BCE. And I did actually several episodes of my podcast about BCE, and it comes up over and over again as a concept. And I love that concept because, if you're having an amazing sex life, if you are having multiple orgasms on a regular basis, okay, and if you have a beautiful sexual relationship or relationships, that is going to give you a confidence in your life that you would not normally have if you didn't have such an amazing sex life. And that really gives you so much confidence. So I encourage people to try to make their sex lives as great as you can possibly make it. And how can we do that, right? How can we do that? So I'm going to talk about that a little bit. And I'm just jumping ahead here in my notes. So some of the things that you can do to improve your BDE are to first improve the sex life that you're already having, okay? If you already are having a sex life, you can change things in your sex life to make it even more incredible. You can try new positions. You can try new locations. You can try new toys. There are so many things that you can do to really spice things up and add interest and fun to your sex lives. And, sexuality is part of life. There's no shame in it. So having conversations with your partner is so, so important. So I always try to encourage people to talk to their partners about what they want. Maybe it's an exchange of what are the top 3 things that are things that you'd like to try, and then exchange with your partner and see if maybe there's anything on that list that you both want to try. That's a great place to start. But really trying to have fun in the bedroom, trying to be spontaneous, trying to, do different things and not always, the same routine is so important. So also, if you're in a relationship, addressing any inequities in the relationship, because those things can really cause resentment in a relationship. So addressing any of those inequities is so key. And that could be, anything from domestic chores to, emotional inequities. One person gives more emotionally than the other. You want to, make sure that you're giving all of yourself to that person so that there's no resentment built up because that can affect your sex life, right? Sleep is so key. Sleep is so important for us in order to have the energy that we need in order to have sex or any other physical thing that we do. And, by the end of the day, you can get really tired if you're not sleeping enough. And when you are sleeping, 7 to 8 hours, and, everybody's a little bit different, but 7 to 8 hours is what's recommended. If you are sleeping regularly, you're going to have much more energy. And, over time, if you have sleep deprivation and you're not sleeping enough, that can also really build up. So pay attention to how much you sleep and really try to get enough sleep, because nobody is going to be in the mood, right? If they're exhausted. So that is super, super important. Okay. So, also medication. Medication is key, right? Medication is really important. Looking at the side effects of that. If you're taking medication for, let's say, anxiety or depression, oftentimes those medications can affect our libidos. So, really paying attention to, the medication that you take. And if it is affecting you in that way, maybe speaking to your doctor about trying to change it to something different that won't affect you in that way, because medication can really put a damper on our libidos. So we want to make sure that, if that's something that is important to us, and as far as I'm concerned, it should be important to all of us, right? We want to have great sex lives. It enhances our life. It gives us happiness and joy. So, so definitely focusing on being healthy in that way is so important. Definitely looking at the medications that you're taking, and if they're affecting your libido or your affect or any of that, certainly talking to your doctor and seeing what you can do to change that medication out. And then reclaiming your sexuality. And, I think that FCC.com is incredible for that. I think that, the people that are on there have reclaimed their sexuality. They are there, they are ready, they are excited to explore. And I invite everyone to be in that space. And that takes, some confidence. And it also takes a mindset of stepping into and onto the path to sexual liberation. And I definitely talk a lot about this on my podcast. I did an episode about sexual liberation and how to get on the path, right? And it is a journey, it is not a destination. It is a journey throughout life to be on the path of sexual liberation. And it's something that you constantly are working towards, right? Being open minded, being creative, and embracing creativity and embracing, differences, and embracing variety. And, they say variety is the spice of life, right? I have to agree 100%. So embracing that, and reclaiming your sexuality, getting rid of the stigma, that sex has, and all of the societal norms that are placed on us and that we learn as we, are growing up, about sex being shameful, and about even masturbation being shameful. All of those things are so much a part of our natural development, and a part of being human. So I embrace exploring your sexuality, and exploring your body. It's so important to know your own body. If you don't know your own body, and this is particularly true for women, but for men as well, right? Because if you can't control, as a man, you can't have control of your ejaculation, you're going to, cut the playtime short, right? We want to have more time to enjoy each other. And for men and for women, it takes a lot different time. So for a man, it takes about 5 to 7 minutes, to reach orgasm. And I know that a lot of people can, I'm not talking about the ones that can last for an hour, and good for you if that's you, and that's amazing, right? And that's what we want. But for women, it takes up to 25 minutes in order to get ready for penetration. So really focusing on trying to be completely ready when you are going to start penetration is key for women. But for men and women, it definitely is different. So thinking about that and thinking about the orgasm gap and how you can close that orgasm gap for yourself. So the orgasm gap, and I'm just going to jump in here and explain what that is the orgasm gap is a phenomenon where in heterosexual relationships, women have much less orgasms than men do. And depending, and this goes across the board from hookups all the way up to marriage and everything in between. And it is really not a good thing, because we all deserve pleasure, women and men equally. And there's a lot of reasons for that. One, societally, what we see in, movies, etc., is usually penetrative sex. And that is how men orgasm. But a woman needs external stimulation in order to orgasm. And that 95% of women do. 95% of women need external clitoral stimulation in order to orgasm. Only 3 to 5% of women can orgasm from penetration alone. So really knowing your own body, knowing what makes you tick, knowing what makes you climax is so important in order to be able to translate that to the bedroom. And, oftentimes women know that they can orgasm in one way, but then they don't bring that into the bedroom. And that is a disservice for yourself and for your partner, because for the most part, I would say our partners want to pleasure us. Am I right? That body massager, yes. I mean, whatever works for you, right? It could be a body massager. It could be an actual massage. Massages are incredible and they can really get you, going and in the mood, right? So foreplay is super, super important. And I think it shouldn't even be considered foreplay, it should be considered part of the sexual act. It's all sex, right? And why should one be called foreplay and then the other act be the actual, penetration, be the actual, play? It's all sex. And it doesn't always have to be that, the foreplay is this much time and the penetration is this much time. I mean, you can go back and forth, and it's amazing. Be creative. That is so, so key. Good. Okay. So I'm going to jump back in my notes here because I took a whole bunch. And if you have any questions, make sure that you put them in the comments here. And I should come over here too and see if I'm getting any comments on this side as well. All right, so I have 2 computers set up here, which is why I'm kind of looking back and forth. My SDC's over here. And my Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube are over here. So I'm kind of like jumping back and forth. Yeah, so if you have any questions, please feel free to ask me as we go along here. So I talked about a few things that could kill BDE, right? I talked about just being disrespectful. I'm drinking my coffee here, so excuse me. Also, another thing that can kill BDE is the concept of modern. Hold on. So I'm sorry, I'm kind of like, this is the page I wanted to be here. Sorry about that. Yes, this is what I wanted to say. So having big dick energy can also be considered, and I love this concept of having a modern relationship. I don't know if you've ever heard of someone referring to someone as having a modern relationship. That's just someone that's really open-minded and really, can think outside of the box when it comes to sexuality. And so modern relationships are oftentimes, people that are thinking outside of the box. They can be swingers, they can be people that are polyamorous, or maybe they are monogamous, but they're open to exploring and, enjoying themselves in that way. One thing that I would say could kill BDE would be toxic masculinity. So let's talk about what toxic masculinity is. It's a cultural ideal of, strength being the most important thing when it comes to a man. And it does not take into account emotional maturity. So it's valuing strength over emotion. And that is not what we want, right? We want somebody that is going to be both emotionally mature and also, strong in their own way. And it doesn't have to be, head to toe muscles, right? It could just be strong in, their confidence, or strong in their, ability to, do what they do on a daily basis, their job. So we're not talking about muscles, right? We're talking about just generally being strong in your personality and having a spine, right? So we want our man to be strong in their, in knowing who they are, and also being emotionally mature. And that is so, so important. Being able to connect with your emotions is very important as a man. So we want our partners to be respectful of others, but be respectful of women in general, and be respectful of us as a partner. So that is so important. I'm going to look at a question over here. So that's a funny question. So the question is, what's the take on going commando to let the big dick show through, right? So we talked early on about having big dick energy has nothing to do with the size of your penis. It's more about an energy or a vibe or a confidence that you exude if you have an incredible sex life, right? If you're having an amazing sex life and you're having orgasms on a regular basis and you are happy with your sexual exploration and your sex life in general, you're going to have a confidence that, will shine through to all of the parts of your life, whether it be the boardroom or whether it be, the presentation that you're doing, or the webinar that I'm doing, whatever that may be in your life. And everybody has their own things that they do. But having that confidence in all of those things is what big dick energy is about. It's not actually about the size of your penis. So the question about whether going commando is sexy or not, I think that's a funny and interesting question. You know, I think every woman is going to have a different answer to that. I personally, earlier on talked about getting, unsolicited dick pics. And I think that that's very disrespectful. But if you have clothing over your clothing over your penis, and you decide that you don't want to wear underwear, that, as long as you're comfortable, it's all about the comfort, right? Are you comfortable wearing that? Are you going to be able to walk around with confidence and not hunch over because you don't want it to show through, right? You have to be confident. And this just reminds me of a time that my boyfriend and I went to the grocery store. And before we got there, we were flirting around in the car, and I was talking about something sexy, and he got a hard on, and he pointed it out to me as we were walking from the parking lot into the store and said, "Oh, I have to, make this go down before I go in the store." And I said, "No, you don't. That's hot." I mean, we were just having a conversation, and it makes perfect sense that, you got a little stimulated, right? And there's nothing wrong with that. If you're with somebody, and you can see that, I definitely think that it could be sexy. Now, if somebody walked up to me, when I was walking to my car, in the parking lot by myself, and they were, purposely trying to bring attention to that area to show, me what they wanted me to see. Now that would be creepy and disrespectful. So context is super, super important. So I hope that that answered your question. Um, so, and in terms of the clothing, you would have to ask another man, because I don't dress myself where I want to show off my penis, because I don't have one. So, so that is I don't know, a conversation for another place and time, but not here. So definitely, we talked about toxic masculinity, and how that could be a killer of BDE. So there are a few things that could kill BDE, right? But there's a lot of things that can feed it too, right? And that would be, being respectful of your partner, and being kind to other people, and being respectful of people around you. And if you are in a partnered relationship, really trying to be helpful to the other person, and also, opening up communication with the other person. Really trying to have these conversations about sexuality that are so important, so that everybody can get their needs met. And knowing that there's something called the orgasm gap, right? And we want to close that for all of us, right? We should all be having amazing sex, and we shouldn't ever be faking it. And unfortunately, 80% of women have said that they've faked orgasm one time or another in their lives, and that is a huge percentage. And that is why I constantly am talking about the orgasm gap, because women deserve to have orgasms too, right? And so it's so important to want to please your partner, and so having conversations about how you can improve that. And so I mentioned earlier, trying to improve the sex life that you already have, right? What can you do to make it even more mind blowing? Can you bring in toys? Can you bring in I don't know. What do you think? What do you think? What else could you bring into the bedroom? I know that the STC crowd over here is saying maybe other people. A lot of people fantasize about threesomes. That is a super, super common fantasy. So definitely, thinking about exploring your fantasies, writing down those fantasies and sharing them with your partner. All of that. Role play. Yes, role play is so much fun. I absolutely agree. Trying to, maybe pick up your partner at the bar, pretend that you're somebody else. That's super fun too. So there's so many things that you can do to try and spice up your sex life, right? And so focusing on that. And now I want to just talk about physically what you can do, right? Physically, what you can do. And if you are somebody who is experiencing any form of erectile dysfunction, you can improve that, okay? And there are treatments that can be done to improve that. And so a lot of people will go to the doctor, and they'll get the little blue pill, right? They'll get Viagra or Cialis, and they'll use that for a time. But over time, that stops working, because the reason is that those things are caused by blockages in your arteries and blockages in your blood vessels, right? And so, and if you're not dealing with the blockages and you're not trying to get rid of those blockages, they're going to just accumulate more and more. And eventually, the Cialis and the Viagra are no longer going to work. And then that's when it becomes a real issue. And this is not something that's just for older people, right? 20% of men in their 20s have some form of erectile dysfunction. 30% in their 30s, 40% in their 40s, etc. And it goes up from there. So it is super, super important if you're having any changes in your erectile function to really address those changes early on. And this is what I do in my practice. So I'm going to talk to you about a treatment that I do that helps with erections, okay? And you can use it for prevention, which I always, recommend. But if you have mild, moderate, or severe ED, this can make a huge difference. Basically, what it does, and I'm going to tell you what it's called acoustic wave therapy. And acoustic wave therapy is also known as Gaines wave, if you've ever looked up Gaines wave. And what it does is it breaks up the blockages in your blood vessels, and it allows those blood vessels to sort of, or not the blood vessels, it allows the blockages to kind of flow out of your system and get processed out. And the treatment is relatively painless. Okay, it can be a little uncomfortable, but I can use something like a numbing gel or something like that. If my client is not comfortable with trying it without that, but it's non-invasive, and it's basically a wand that moves along the inner thigh and along the penis itself. And it breaks up those blockages that are in the tissue. And, those blockages are caused by nutrition. So we can go into that in a little bit of detail as well. But anything that causes blockages is usually fat and cholesterol. So if you have high cholesterol, you're going to have blockages in your arteries. But oftentimes, all of us have some sort of blockages in our arteries over time. And sometimes we don't even know that they're there. So when you start to have changes, you'll know that you're having blockages that are affecting your function. And for men, it's much easier to know, right? Because men, if you don't get an erection, blood is not flowing there. But for a woman can have the same problem. Okay. And if blood is not flowing to your clitoris in your vaginal area, you're going to have decreased dryness and decreased sensitivity. So there is a woman's equivalent of that. And we will definitely talk about that in a couple of weeks when we talk about how to get big clit energy, right? And so today we're going to be talking about the man's treatment. So basically what it entails is first, I do a full evaluation, and we talk about your history. We talk about any medical problems you have. We talk about those things like we talked about before, what medication you're taking, and, to see if any of those things can be causing a problem with your erections. Also, we talk about testosterone. Sometimes men need to supplement their testosterone levels if they're low, and looking at the other things that can cause, in your blood work that can cause you to have any issues. So that's really important too. And then I'm trying to read these comments, but there's so much to read and it's hard for me to talk. So I will definitely get to reading all of your comments later. I promise. I just, I can't read them right now while I'm talking because it's really hard for me to read and talk at the same time. So I promise you that I will definitely read all of your comments in a little bit. So when you get the treatment, it builds over time. So one treatment builds on the next and builds on the next. So when you get your first treatment, basically we do an extensive evaluation. And then after that, you will get the treatment. And And then the next time you come in, we'll talk about any changes that you will experience. And oftentimes, even after one session, people will have lots of changes already. And that's what I think is absolutely amazing about this treatment, because it starts affecting the tissue immediately. And what's really incredible about it too is that it also increases capillary formation. And capillaries are the tiny blood vessels that go to every single cell in your body. And so, increasing your capillary formation is going to increase your blood flow generally to the area. So, I really focus on not just the penis, right? But all of the surrounding area, like your inner thigh and your mons, like the part of your body that's like your lower belly, right? I do the treatment on all of that so that the blood flow that's going to the penis is going to be increased through all of those areas. And so that is an incredible thing that you can do. Now, let's talk about nutrition, because nutrition is so important to having normal function. And if you are not eating enough fruits and vegetables, you are not going to have good blood flow. So, fruits and vegetables are so, so key in order to have good health in general. And they also help to cleanse your body. So, definitely eating lots and lots of fruits and vegetables is key. There you go. If you have ED, he says eat healthy and go to the gym, which I agree. Exercise is super important for being healthy, right? But a lot of times people think that exercise is like the main thing that you do to be healthy, right? And when you think about health, 80% of health is nutrition. The other 20% is exercising, getting enough sleep, which we talked about, and hydrating. Hydration is so, so important. And depending on your size, right, will depend on how much you need to drink. But half of your body weight should be drank in ounces per day. So you can all figure that out on your own. But it is quite a lot. And it's oftentimes not, oftentimes people are, dehydrated all the time because they're not getting enough fluids. And that is so important for blood flow, because if you think about the blood is mostly water, right? So it's important to have enough fluids in your body for you to have normal amount of blood volume, and that affects your blood pressure too. So definitely having enough blood volume is very key. So drinking lots and lots of water. And yes, exercise is part of that 20%, and it's super important. So I love all of the comments over here. So another thing that you can do, and that I've talked about in the past, and this is my hydration here. I know I have my coffee down there, but I have my hydration here. And I love to drink coconut water. Coconut water has natural electrolytes in it. And so it's really a great drink if you don't love just plain water. Coconut water is a great thing to replenish your blood also, because it has very similar qualities to the plasma in your body, and the amniotic fluid if you're pregnant. And I am not pregnant, but when I was pregnant, I drank a lot of coconut water because it does replenish. It has the same chemical kind of breakdown as like amniotic fluid and the plasma in your blood. So make sure that you stay hydrated. Okay. Let's see. So we are running low on time already. I can't believe this much time has gone by. I would love for all of you to check out my podcast. My podcast is called Please Me. And it's been, I've had 2 seasons. I just finished up season 2. And next week starts season 3. And I talk about all sorts of things when it comes to sexuality. I talk about the path to sexual liberation. I talk about lingerie. I talk about kink. I talk about BDSM. I talk about safe sex. I like to consider myself the face of safe sex, and safe sex is so important. I talk about consent. I talk about swinging. There's so many different things that I cover on the podcast, and it is so much fun. I get guests from all over the world to come and talk to me, and I have interviewed several people actually from SDC, and lots of people, lots of authors from all around the world, health coaches from different places that can really help us to really get on that path to sexual liberation and to all experience that big dick energy or that big clit energy. And that is really my goal for everybody listening, is to really get on your own personal path to sexual exploration and sexual liberation, and to really enjoy your sex life, because this is where adults play, right? And I love the concept of playtime as being sexy time. And I think that swingers and the ethically non-monogamous crew do that best, because they do call playtime or sex time playtime, right? Sexy time is playtime, and that is when we can really be creative. We can really explore. And so that is super, super important. So I say, let's all get on the path to sexual liberation. My phone is dinging over here. I'm seeing it's about to fall off of the chair here. So check out my podcast. Check out my podcast. It's on SDC. It's also on any of the sites that you listen to listen to podcasts. It's on Spotify, Apple, and you can also see the podcast on YouTube, or you can see it on pleaseme.online. And then lastly, I just want to mention that I have, if anyone is interested in doing the treatment that I mentioned, that treatment is for erectile dysfunction. And it's also used to sort of boost your erectile function. And you may notice that there have been some changes, but you're still functioning like you should, right? But maybe you're not having that morning wood like you used to, or maybe you're not having as many spontaneous erections throughout the day as you did before, And so if that's the case, and you're starting to see some changes in your erectile function, that is the perfect time to get the treatment. And because the sooner you get the treatment, the quicker or the easier it is to heal. Now, if you have severe erectile dysfunction, it's going to be much more difficult to heal from, because that condition has been going on for a long, long time. And so it's going to take more time to, reverse that, and may at some point not be 100% reversible. So when you start to see the changes, that's when you should really try getting treatment. And what I always say is that, there is absolutely no shame in having a sexual health condition, just like there's no shame in having an STI, and there's no shame in sex itself. Sex is not shameful, right? And so, if you have any kind of condition like that, talking to your partner, and then also, seeking help is important. So you're very welcome. Thank you guys for coming. And for SDC and for anyone listening, I offer $100 off today. If you're interested in scheduling a treatment, $100 off your first treatment. So please reach out to me if that's you. Please check out my website if that's you. It's my website is pleaseme.online. And there you can see all of my podcasts. You can see all of the things that I recommend in terms of nutrition. There's a product that I talk about a lot, and I didn't mention it here, but it is a product that gives you the nutrition of 30 fruits and vegetables in your body every single day. And that is really important for blood flow because it helps to cleanse your body and it helps you to stay healthier from the inside out. So that's on my website as well. And then recently, I discovered something through my podcast, actually. And what's been really incredible about my podcast is that I've been able to really have a sort of healing journey that I was not anticipating or expecting. And we've talked about so many different things, but I've met so many amazing people. And I met someone named Darlene Green, and I interviewed her this past season, and she talked to me about a technology, a stem cell technology that I had never heard about. And it is an incredible technology. What it is it's a patch that you put on your body that helps your body to create its own stem cells. And these patches are incredible. They're based on a light technology. And basically, the light that's coming from you, your essence, your aura, your inner light is shining into these patches. And what it does is it allows your body to kind of wake up your ability to produce more stem cells, and it allows your body to create more stem cells. And if you know anything about stem cells, you know that they are the precursor to all cells in your body. Okay, so all cells need stem cells in order to create more cells, and your body's constantly turning over cells. Okay, your hair cells, your skin cells, your your blood vessel cells, all of the cells in your body have to turn over, and each type of cell turns over at a different rate. In a year, every single cell in your body will completely turn over. So, really trying to help those stem cells along and to have more stem cells is incredible. So if you're interested in more information about that stem cell technology, please reach out to me and I can connect you with the person who I heard about them from. I have been using them myself, and I definitely feel like like they're helping me in with there's different reasons why you would use them, but there's also pain patches that really have been helping me with my hip because I have hip pain sometimes, and so they've been really helping me with pain. There's also patching for inflammation. But one of the things that Darlene said is that the patches should come with a warning sign because, a lot of times people will say that they increase their libido and they increase their desire for sex. So I wanted to bring that information to you as well because, no matter what, being healthy from the inside out is what we all want and what is going to really get us to be able to be healthy enough for any kind of activity and sexual activity. Especially you want to be 100% healthy. So that I wish upon all of the people that are listening today. I always want to help my clients get healthier and definitely to explore their sex lives even more and to get on that path to sexual liberation. So with that being said, I am going to close off my live stream for Facebook, Instagram, and Instagram, and YouTube, I should say. And I'm going to just jump on the live for SDC so that I can answer some of these questions. So just give me